thought he wasn't going to come on. Hi, I've got Harsha with me, and we wanted to do an update. A couple of years ago, 3 years ago, we did the video.
Yes, maybe more actually, longer.
Yeah, I think I called you a horse in that one. Anyway, we did a video about how well Harsha did with the boot camp diet, and since then, certainly I've moved on to other more refined ways to help people to lose weight. But also Harsha called me last week, I think it was, and told me about this amazing thing that's happened to her through the diet. So I just want to explain that when Harsha had a diagnosis of being diabetes type 2 in May 2017, and then since then she's done things to help it to stop getting worse. And I just wanted you to hear this from Harsha. So Harsha, welcome, and just tell everybody. Hooray! And just note her boot camp sweatshirt. Yeah, don't need to show you full boob. And yeah, so just tell everybody your story. That'd be brilliant.
Sure.
Please.
So May of 2017, I was told that I have type 2 diabetes, which is quite common anyway in Asians. It's a normal thing. So my father has it, so it's hereditary. And also for having Sasha, my daughter, later in life. So that was a combination of why I got it diagnosed back then. But no sooner did I get told that, I decided that I wanted to give up. I didn't want to take medication, and I wanted to give up certain foods that would help maybe combat what my type is.
You did, or you didn't want to give up certain foods?
I did want to give up. So instantly I gave up sodas, so Coke, lemonades, all of those sorts of things. I gave up jack potato. I haven't eaten one since that time. I really don't eat much bread, all of those sorts of things. And I'm not a big alcohol drinker, so it really made no, so those few things, thinking they will actually really help reduce my numbers from my blood sugar. And then fast forward, I did that for about, maybe 10 months, and it goes round to March of this year. And instead of going down, it went up.
Oh, really? Even taking out those foods?
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. So that showed me that it made no difference. And it unfortunately can get you quite down, because you think, well, I've taken away all the sort of nice foods that you really want to eat, and all the sort of, your vodka tonics, or you drink, those sorts of things, or lemonades, whatever you want.
Vodka tonics. Hello, Cheryl.
And that meant, that was quite depressing, if anything, and that can play, I think it made a factor in my mental health more than anything, because here's somebody who's really trying through fitness and exercise, and obviously diet combined into there, just my own sort of diet, and I still wasn't making any difference, any inroads into my diabetes. So
did that demotivate you to actually carry on?
Absolutely, at the time. And obviously I was doing boot camp the whole time through that. And then obviously I got told that. So in May, obviously I got in touch with you again to then carry on with obviously boot camp, but tap into maybe your no nonsense.
So I just want to hold you there, because we did... Harsha and I have got together a few times, and we've kind of tracked her progress, or how things have been going, and we've tried tweaking various things. So I just want to ask you, what motivated you to keep going?
Well, ultimately, I just don't want to be on medication. Because It's so simple to just turn around and say to the doctors, I'll take medication. And the reasons why I didn't want to do it is because I didn't want to be that person who basically is using the NHS to fund all my medication. And the resources are already tough for them anyway. So why be another statistic? Instead, I wanted to show that if I can, even if I can push it off, if it's a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever I can do, it's a good thing for me, good thing for my family. And it also showed my dad that this is something, we could all do.
Yeah, so the rest of your family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That, you don't put me in this box that because I'm Asian and I had a baby late in life, that automatically I'm a recipe for medication. Yeah. That's really what I didn't want to be.
And what a refreshing attitude, because it's so easy, isn't it, just to... when you get diagnosed, and I'm not decrying anybody for going down the route of just taking the medication, but there's always that that ease, if you like, of just depending on somebody else giving a diagnosis. Here's the pill. You don't have to do anything. So, where did you go from there then, Harsha?
Well, so the next thing for me was to see other results that you had already achieved with everyone who was doing the no nonsense probably earlier in the year, and so I thought, okay, I'm going to have to finally do something like that, because obviously with diabetes, as anyone knows when they've watched a lot of these programs, it's not about losing your your weight off your face or any of the other places where normally most people lose
losing your face.
Huh?
Or losing your face.
Oh, losing your face. Yeah, that's right. Obviously, it's all around your mid, your tummy area, and that's really what it is. And I watched this one particular program where he measured himself, and they did a group of people where they sort of put a string from the top of your head to your feet, doubled it up, and then put it around their belly. And it was really interesting, and to see if your string touched, two ends touch, you're all good. If it doesn't, then you're in the diabetes, overweight, that sort of range. So that made me think as well, because obviously, you've got your coat, and it's coming into the summer. I just wanted to do it.
So what did you do?
So got in touch with you to say, let's do the no nonsense and get on that. And really, that's where I came to.
And so, what were your results after the no? Sorry, just to backtrack. The no nonsense diet is a diet that I run every so often, and it's generally 4 weeks. And I go against my normal grain in the respect that I tell people to eat this, 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 and this. So you have recipes and you have a set menu plan which you can either follow, or of course if I put a fish dish in, you don't like fish, you can substitute it for meat or vegetables if you're a vegetarian, and also you get exercises thrown at you every day, 6 days a week I should say, and also there's a lot of motivational push from me. Sometimes it's in the form of emails, sometimes it's in the form of videos. So that's what Harsha's referring to when she talks about the no-nonsense diet, which I will be launching soon. So let me know if you're interested. So what were your results from doing the 4-week diet?
So massive. I think in that whole 4 weeks, I lost about 4.5 kilos. Which,
wow.
Which
what's that in proper?
So I've worked out
2.2
pounds is 1 kilo. So 2, 4, 6, 8.
8 pounds.
Just over 8 pounds. So
well done, Harsha. Oh, thank you.
yeah. And
wow.
So that motivated, and just looking at what I was eating. So instantly, what the first thing I gave up, which obviously has made the biggest difference, was actually taking away milk. Not having milk in those 4 weeks, I didn't even miss it at all.
Yeah.
Didn't make any difference to me, because obviously the smoothies were really amazing, and introducing like burgers and substituting. I was trying not to use bread in your burger meal, but what I did, I used portobello mushrooms as my burger baps.
Fab. Yeah.
As an alternative to that, and which also helped. I started buying kale. I mean, nobody wants to eat kale normally.
Love kale.
But kale. And now I can't not have a kale smoothie or a spinach smoothie or some of those things. And, changing the look of how I want to eat cauliflower or something like that. Just a different perspective on all my vegetables now. And that's made a massive difference. And I've just literally just taken that on.
So what about your readings with your diabetes?
So the two things that out of all of the 6 things that I think we had to really give up, the 2 things that I've managed to stay off is milk and caffeine. They've made a massive difference. Caffeine, I think, ultimately, because I just don't have the urge to have that. I don't know what it is that caffeine does to you.
Just to explain that caffeine is a stimulant and it can do all sorts of things, from irritate your bladder. I'm very much onto the pelvic floor thing at the moment. But also it can raise your cortisol level slightly, which has a bearing on your insulin level. So that's why it's much more difficult to lose weight if you're having a high intake of caffeine. So you told me about your actual readings.
So my readings in March until before I saw you for no nonsense was 7. 7 is the ultimate peak of when the nurses or doctors will say you need to now take medication. But because I had a good relationship with mine, they were allowing me to just let this go. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but it was my choice as well. I didn't want to opt for the medication to just give me the extra few months, which obviously was a great time to do it because it was a summer.
Mm-hmm.
I did that, and since then, you know, I've probably gone off the wagon a little bit, as I've said, but I've managed to keep off milk and caffeine, which has been the main thing. And I went for my recent reading, and it's come down to 6.4.
Wow.
Which now makes me pre-diabetic. So in another 6 months when I go back again, if I can keep this up and keep the weight off, I could become not diabetic.
Wow.
And that's in a space of a year potentially of starting the no nonsense, but looking at food in a different way.
Mm. And I just wanted to make this point as well, that Harsha very kindly said she'd come over to my place to do this video. Look at my lovely paintings in the background, but that's by the by. It's all about me. And when she came in, she said to me, I've got some sprouts and I want to do some kind of sprout dish tonight. And we were just having a chat about what you can do with them, politely, because I love them. And she had this urge to have greens. And the more you eat something, the more you want. And that's the same with sugar. So the more sugary stuff you have in your diet, the more actually that you crave. And the more greens you have in your diet, again, the more you crave. So if you want to crave the good stuff, you keep flooding your body with the good stuff. So I'm just going to finish to say thank you very much to Harsha, and a massive well done, huge well done. And that must be really good for your confidence as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one other thing that I've noticed, and I don't know if this can apply to everybody, but it had definitely applied to me. I did a trip away to America, and it was a good opportunity for me to just kind of go crazy and eat what I wanted, but I didn't, because I think you get into that way of thinking that you don't need to just gorge all the time. But one of the biggest thing I found was when I stayed with my friend, she had a cat, and I was really conscious about staying with her the whole time, thinking, oh, you know, I'm going to be really allergic and all the rest of it. So I took all my drugs over from here because it's way cheaper than there, to ready to dose myself up for the 2 weeks that I was there. Instantly I got there, even though my friend had cleaned up, this cat was moving around, that is what would have triggered it off. The whole 2 weeks, not one problem.
Wow.
I didn't have it, and that purely is down to milk for me. Now, I have told my nurse that, and obviously everyone is different, but that has made a massive difference to my asthma, my confidence, and just I'm never going to have a pet, but being around pets.
Just look after my dog, which she does sometimes. I look after her child, my daughter.
It's the same thing.
Same thing. Yes, they are. So milk, yes, milk is very mucus building, and if you're asthmatic, I would say the first thing to do is absolutely take milk out. But if you've listened to this video and you are interested in getting some help, I will be putting out my no-nonsense, hi Kerry, we'll be putting out my no-nonsense diet very soon. I'm going to be promoting it for post-Christmas. So you get recipes, you get exercises, you get a whole meal plan that's done for you, and clearly it works. So £8, that's over half a stone for us oldies, in a month. So you could, you know, if you wanted to really like take it a step further, then you could. So that's us. Thank you very much, Harsha. And if you're interested, just put a yes below and I will be in touch. Alrighty, take care. Bye.